Hey everyone, George here. I hope everyone is doing well and staying safe. And it's been a while since I've done a video. I was doing these Western Wednesday videos, and I kind of stopped at the end of last year, sort of. And yeah, I wanted to kind of catch up with you guys and see how everything's been. And I figure a good video to just kind of loosen things up, shoot the shit, as some people might say, is do like a Criterion Collection video. And I'm a big fan of the Criterion Collection. They restore and kind of put these great movies into this cool format. A lot of supplements, comes in Blu-rays or DVDs, and yeah, it's packed with a lot of stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna go through the DVDs first, and then I'll go through the Blu-rays. So for the DVDs, we're gonna have Chasing Amy. This came out in 1997, and it's directed by Kevin Smith. And I'm a big fan of Kevin Smith's movies. And he makes some great movies. He makes some decent movies. He makes some pretty bad movies. But Chasing Amy is one of his best movies. And I think that between Clerks and Chasing Amy, I think he's a really solid film director. And this is my favorite of his. Ben Affleck's really good, but the two actors that really steal the show are Jason Lee and Joey Lauren Adams. Great comedy, highly recommended. Okay, so The Life of Brian. Okay, so this is by Monty Python. You got Monty Python's Life of Brian, and this came out in 1979. Really controversial kind of movie because it's like a religious satire, and it's a fantastic movie. These guys were on some next level type of stuff. You have Terry Gilliam and John Cleese and Terry Jones and other guys. It's really cool to see all these guys young and doing some really smart, funny stuff. And I highly recommend The Life of Brian. Holy Grail is probably my favorite of theirs, but Life of Brian, you really can't go wrong with it. All right, and the last DVD we have is The Royal Tenenbaums. It's by Wes Anderson, and this came out in 2001. And it has a great cast. Gene Hackman, Angelica Houston, Danny Glover, the Wilson brothers, Gwyneth Paltrow. Yeah, awesome cast. And Gene Hackman really steals the show here. Like, I think he should have got nominated for an Oscar or something as Royal Tenenbaum. Yeah, this is a really great Wes Anderson movie. I'm a big fan of his movies. We'll talk about some more of his movies later on with the Blu-rays. But The Royal Tenenbaums is a fantastic movie, and I think Margot, played by Gwyneth Paltrow, and then you have Richie, played by Luke Wilson, are real standouts in the movie. And then, of course, Owen Wilson as Eli Cash. Wow, cat. So yeah, Royal Tenenbaums, definitely good stuff. Alright, so now we're going to get into the Blu-rays. Alright, so we have Hoop Dreams. This is a childhood favorite of mine. I used to own this on, my family used to own this on VHS. And I loved this movie as a kid. And I watched it 3 or 4 years ago. And I love it still. Like, it's a great documentary. It's by Steve James, who also did the Roger Ebert documentary Life Itself, which I also highly recommend. But Hoop Dreams is a fantastic movie. It's about a couple of boys in Chicago, having the dreams of becoming professional basketball players and going to college and got high school, and it kind of spans through several years pretty much. And yeah, it's a fantastic movie. It's about 3 hours long. However, the documentary flies by really fast. And if there's any movie that I recommend out of all these, like if you're going to watch with your family, or if you're just going to just say, hey, let me pick up a Criterion Collection, then this is the one I recommend. Hoop Dreams by Steve James. It's a real classic. Even if you don't like basketball, this is still a fantastic movie about just life, living in poverty, education, families. It's really good stuff. Hoop Dreams. And that came out in 1994, I believe. Yeah, 94. Wow. Alright, so next up we have Night of the Living Dead, George A. Romero's classic from 1968. And I've talked about George A. Romero a lot. Dawn of the Dead is one of my personal favorite movies, and I've talked about that movie a bunch of times. And this is the one that started it all. It's fantastic here. And Dwayne Jones is fantastic. I wish he was in more movies, to be honest with you. And yeah, for a low budget independent movie, this has some good acting in it, and it has a good story. The ending, I watched this movie when I was in like middle school, and the ending really shook me. Where I mean, spoiler alert. I mean, this movie is a classic, but like Dwayne Jones gets killed at the end, just shot, and it comes out of nowhere, and it's really shocking. Great ending, powerful ending to a really great movie. I prefer Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead out of the trilogy, and but Night of the Living Dead it's a classic. It's really good stuff. George A. Romero is a great director. He's one of my favorite directors, and I feel like between the Dead trilogy and the movie Martin, I think he's one of the greatest filmmakers, especially for independent cinema. All right, next up, we have a movie that I already reviewed, and if you want to check that out on this channel, you can. It's McCabe and Mrs. Miller by Robert Altman. It stars Warren Beatty and Julie Christie, and you have Leonard Cohen providing the soundtrack. Great Western. I can't recommend it enough. If you like, it's a very offbeat kind of Western. Yeah, it's good stuff. That one came out in '71. Alright, so we have Videodrome next. I've talked about this movie a couple times before too. It's one of my personal favorite horror movies. And yeah, David Cronenberg, James Woods, Deborah Harry. Great movie, 1983. Real body horror classic. It's a movie that I reference a lot in my videos. And long live the new flesh, right? Definitely recommend Videodrome. Oh, next we have Paul Thomas Anderson's masterpiece. We have Punch Drunk Love, starring Adam Sandler. Great movie. Yeah, great movie. Emily Watson's in the movie. We have Philip Seymour Hoffman is in the movie, and I think this movie is just fantastic. It's paced really well. It's only about an hour and a half long. It came out in 2002, and you have Luis Guzman in the movie too. And yeah, I think it's a great movie. One of Adam Sandler's best movies. I think I'm a big fan of his Happy Madison productions too, like The Waterboy and Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison and Mr. Deeds and Click and all those movies. But Adam Sandler can really act his ass off, and he does this in this movie. And Criterion Collection are actually putting out uncut gems on their Criterion Collection stuff, and that's coming out in October, which I already own the Blu-ray, so I don't think I'll be double dipping, but Uncut Gems is fantastic. He also did Spanglish, which I think he's fantastic in that. And what else? He did Reign Over Me with Don Cheadle, which that was fantastic too. Funny People, I'm a big fan of Funny People, the Judd Apatow movie with him and Seth Rogen and Leslie Mann. But Punch Drunk Love is one of Paul Thomas Anderson's best movies, and it's definitely one of Adam Sandler's highlights, I think. Alright, and that one came out in 2002. We have another personal favorite of mine. We have My Own Private Idaho, Gus Van Sant's masterpiece. This film was loosely based on Henry IV. Yeah, River Phoenix and Keanu Reeves in the house, and they're fantastic here. River Phoenix is really amazing in the movie, and they play a couple of hustlers, and it's like an adventure movie, and River Phoenix is trying to find his mom and all kinds of stuff. Great movie, and if you like Shakespeare like I do, then this is another great movie to watch. We have Jim Jarmusch's classic Down by Law, starring John Lurie, Roberto Benigni, and Tom Waits. Fantastic movie. One of Jim Jarmusch's best movies, I think, and really just, I don't know, it gives you kind of a warm feeling. Basically, it's about these three guys that are in prison. They become friends, and they break out, and good stuff. Here we have another Wes Anderson movie. This is the Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, and this came out in 2004. And yeah, it stars Bill Murray, has a great cast, Owen Wilson, Angelica Houston, Cate Blanchett, I think. Yeah, Cate Blanchett's in the movie, Willem Dafoe. Great movie, probably my favorite Wes Anderson movie. I think I've talked about this before as well. But, amazing movie. Rushmore. This is a childhood favorite of mine. Even though it's rated R, I think it's. I watched this movie a lot. This and Bottle Rocket were always played on cable networks, and I really like both these movies. And Rushmore is one of Wes Anderson's best movies. I would probably put this number 2. I would probably put The Life Aquatic at number 1, Rushmore at number 2, and then The Grand Budapest Hotel at number 3. But yeah, Rushmore is fantastic. Jason Schwartzman, Bill Murray, Olivia Williams, they're all great in the movie. Really well written, and it's a movie you can really just show to your family too. Like, it's nothing too bad. Even though it's rated R, there's some like language. Like, if your teenager wants to see this, let them watch Rushmore. Great movie, fantastic. Howard Hawks' classic Red River. This film stars John Wayne, Montgomery Clift, and it has a great supporting cast. Joanne Drew, Ward Bond, Walter Brennan. Oh man, fantastic movie, Red River. Probably not my favorite Howard Hawks movie. Rio Bravo is still my favorite Howard Hawks Western, and but this is a great movie. John Wayne, I think, doesn't get enough credit for being an amazing actor. He can really act his ass off in movies like Red River and The Searchers, which is a John Ford movie, and The Shootist, movies like that. John Wayne could really act his butt off. So Red River, it's fantastic. This is packed with a lot of stuff. This even comes with a little novel called Blazing Guns on the Chisholm Trail, which I've actually read a few pages, and it's good stuff. I haven't had time to read it, but I would recommend this set, and it looks fantastic on Blu-ray. Okay, next up we have the Coen Brothers. Pretty recent movie. Came out in 2013, Inside Llewyn Davis. It stars Oscar Isaac, Carey Mulligan, Adam Driver, John Goodman. Justin Timberlake's in the movie for a little bit. Fantastic movie about this folk singer who's kind of down on his luck and just trying things out. And fantastic. Probably not my favorite Coen Brothers movie. I would put Fargo and Burn After Reading above this. But it's a fantastic movie. I highly recommend it. Oscar Isaac is amazing here, and the music's great. John Goodman probably has the best scenes in the movie. He's a real scene stealer. Inside Llewyn Davis, definitely recommend it. Oh, Ghost Dog, The Way of the Samurai. Here's another Jim Jarmusch favorite of mine, and it's one of my favorite movies of all time. This is Ghost Dog, The Way of the Samurai, starring Forrest Whitaker. This came out in 1999, and oh man, it has that RZA soundtrack. That's fantastic. A theme song. Oh, so good. You also have Henry Silva. It has a great cast. And Forrest Whitaker plays Ghost Dog, who's a mercenary who lives by the code of the samurai. Fantastic movie, one of my personal favorites. Here we have an oldie goldie, In the Heat of the Night, starring Sidney Poitier, Rod Steiger, and Warren Oates. This came out in 1967, and you have Quincy Jones doing the score, and it's fantastic. Fantastic acting. Really great movie about race, and this is amazing. Like what it really tackles is race, and just, I don't know, the acting chops in this movie are really fantastic, and it's a really kind of just right in your face kind of movie. Great movie for the time, and I would highly recommend it. They Call Me Mr. Tibbs. And Rod Steiger, he's doing this amazing like redneck accent, and he's fantastic as always. Next we have The Shooting and Ride in the Whirlwind, which is a Monte Hellman double pack. I've reviewed The Shooting before, and The Shooting is one of my favorite westerns. It's fantastic. It has Warren Oates, Jack Nicholson, Millie Perkins, and then you have Ride in the Whirlwind, which has Jack Nicholson and Harry Dean Stanton's in the movie, Cameron Mitchell's in the movie, and Millie Perkins as well, which is why both of them are on the cover, Millie Perkins and Jack Nicholson, because they're both in the movies, in each of the movies. And yeah, it's fantastic. They came out in 1966. Great movies. The Shooting is a real trip. It's an acid western, so if you're into those trippy kind of movies, definitely check out The Shooting. Alright, so Investigation of a Citizen Above Suspicion. This came out in 1970, and this won an Oscar for Best Foreign Language Film back in the day, and it stars Jean-Marie Volonté and Florinda Balkan, who are fantastic in these movies. Jean-Marie Volonté is an amazing actor. I've talked about him a bunch of times, and most people know him from the spaghetti westerns, which he was in For a Fistful of Dollars and For a Few Dollars More by Sergio Leone, and he was in Sergio Solima's Face to Face, and he was also in A Bullet for the General, or Quien Sabe, as it was called in Italy. This movie is fantastic. You basically have Jean-Marie Volonté playing an inspector who kills his mistress, played by Florinda Balkan, and he's kind of leaving these breadcrumbs, trails, to see if the police force can see who did it and all that kind of stuff. It's a very dark comedy. It's very political. It has an amazing Ennio Morricone score, and yeah, it's directed by Elio Petri. It's beautifully shot, and I can't recommend this movie enough if you're into those kind of dark comedy, political crime movies. So that's it, guys. That's my Criterion Collection. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and yeah, I hope you all are doing well. And I'm personally going to college right now, and yeah, I'm back in college. So I hope everyone take care, stay safe. Bye.